What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I'm your host, Coach Adam, here with Coach Damon today, and we're going to be discussing how to navigate this world of social media in which we live, and specifically, of course, in the health and fitness realm. A lot of information, a lot good, a lot bad, and everything in between. So we're going to kind of break down who to trust, what to look for, because we know you're out there scrolling. So. Before we do that, member of the week this week, an honor, Mr. Tim Whitney. Tim, this is full disclosure. We were recording this on a Tuesday, and just yesterday on Monday, this man got his platinum level, which is 300 workouts here at Legacy. And for being a 3 days a week guy, that's a long time. So.
That's almost a year, man.
Yeah. Oh, he's been killing it, and he made big switch up in his nutrition a little while back. He's got, I don't know, I don't want to say the numbers wrong, but he's probably around 115 plus pounds of muscle. This big dude. But did a little switch up in his nutrition, and was dealing with a hip thing for a really long time, where he was like having to do body weight, lower body stuff for a long time, but came out on the other side, shining, platinum to be specific, and nice job, Tim. Killing it.
Awesome job, Tim.
200 to go, Hall of Fame. All right. So our goal here for you guys today is basically how to become a smarter consumer of all the stuff that we see on social media. And of course, we want to be your reliable source. But things that we want to you can kind of put yourself in these shoes. You know, you've watched a fitness video, it's explaining something to you. Okay, you finish watching it. You're like, all right, take away whatever you do from that. And then you take a few more scrolls a couple minutes later and you see a video again, but maybe completely contradicting what you just watched. And now you're sitting there like, who the heck do I believe? Which one's right? Kind of situation. Some kind of examples that get thrown around a lot, at least out on the floor too. People will bring it up because they're kind of exercise specific. Is don't squat with your knees past your toes. Classic, right? Couple about eating, like you should be eating every 2 hours. Steady flow of nutrition. Well, it kind of depends on your goal, right? Cardio killing your gains. We've done cardio podcasts before. They can kill your gains, but there's also times to do cardio, right? And, you don't want to train, people saying train till failure all the time, every day, all these things. It's not a good mindset, right? So those are some common things that I think we run into on social media a lot. So let's talk a little bit why social media can be so confusing. You want to take a little bit of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much information out there, and with all that information being in multiple different sources, multiple different studies, let's just say, for example, you were talking about the squat, you shouldn't have your knees over your toe. Well, where's the why? Why do you want to do that? And a lot of these clips that you see on Instagram, TikTok, they'll say these things, and they're not technically wrong on whatever they're trying to say, but sometimes they may not be giving the reasons on why. So I'd say that's kind of a big indicator to try to look out for, is when somebody's trying to make a statement about something, can they back it up? Right?
The explanation.
And we've seen influencers and just social media people out there that do back it up, which is awesome to see, great, and we love to see that. But that's when we start getting back into that realm of, okay, where are the studies coming from? How many people are in that study? And that's when it comes to the real nitpicky kind of things for us, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's you have to be careful where the information is coming from, and I think we know that if you if you click on a bunch of pictures on your discovery page, right, reels and things like that, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you do classic like late 20s to early 30s, you got a lot of house plants or something like that. Your algorithm is going to determine the information that is fed to you, right? So you're going to fall into this continuous cycle of getting some kind of information it's going to all fall into the lines of this algorithm, right? And that's where the controversy can come in because maybe you're on one with really bad information and you keep getting fed that over and over, right? So be careful what you're clicking on because it only takes a couple clicks,
Mhm.
right, to
And
fall into the trap.
if we had to give you guys like a couple of questions to ask yourself is who's giving the advice? What are they trying to sell? Are they selling it out of fear?
Yeah.
Or can this be can this be backed up by multiple sources? I'd say those are kind of like four big questions I would throw out there for people to be able to ask yourself when you're watching a video if you're truly curious on what they're doing. Now, if they're doing something like a silly exercise, or I shouldn't say silly, but something that you wouldn't see at a typical day at the
some
gym.
some outlandish things.
Yeah, like I remember a funny one. I mean, the other day, I mean, we Adam was showing me a video of a guy with two barbells hanging down, and the guy was trying to press up a plate off of the one barbell into the next barbell while he's upside down. And yeah, is it impressive? Sure,
Yeah.
but should you do that?
Yeah.
I
And
don't
the
know.
injury risk, and then it's like, I mean, you don't know. Dude could have been sitting there for 3 hours trying to get, 1 rep, and that's the one that you're seeing, it's like these non-practical things. So, and I think that's right around the lines of the loudest or, like, the most outlandish or, like, crazy things that you see, they're not always, the most qualified, but they're not gonna reach, like, the common person's goal, right? Because like you were saying with those questions, definitely need to be asking yourself those, but relate it back to yourself as well. Like what are your individual goals? What's your activity level? Should you be, doing things that a bodybuilder is doing if your goal is, fat loss in your mid 50s? No, probably not. So you need to it's all very relative, right? You need to put yourself in the right position to absorb the information. So, movie and I think you said something interesting too is selling fear, right? Is a lot of times there's these, you know, very deliberate or these comments that are made that can try to instill fear in people. And a lot of times that works on people that lack knowledge in a certain area, right? So it's like this exercise will destroy your knees. It's like, uh, okay, if I do it for like 1 day, if I do it for a year,
Just
like what
one
is it?
rep.
Yeah, 1 rep. Like what is it destroying about my knee? There's so many questions that will spring off of a comment that's trying to instill fear in you. I think another one that you need to be careful with is when people say doctors don't want you to know, then go and follow a doctor.
Mhm.
They're going to be the one that's going to give you the correct information. Like, yeah, it's
It's
just
their job. And the biggest one, which I feel like everybody in our clientele age group is never eat blank, never
yeah.
eat this, never eat that. Why? I mean, I get if it's like, you know, like if you had a whole bag of gummy bears, like, okay, yeah, probably don't eat that, but a
Common
couple's not
sense.
going to kill you
Yeah.
at the same time. So it's just,
Yeah, those the strong words of like never and things like that. It's there's moderation, right? We've talked about it before on some nutrition podcasts. There's times and places for certain things, especially when it comes to nutrition. So very deliberate and fear like settling in kind of comments like that. They're not reliable sources, right? Because the goal there is to get to you in a different way, not an educational way. So be skeptical on things that you see, especially from maybe there's a popular influencer. They might have a lot of followers and all these things, but they could have gotten those followers for a different reason, right? You don't really know why. Um, there's also the whole mental health side of this too, and I guess this kind of relates to the influencer comment, right? It's like a lot of the society today, it's like a comparison society, right? Like we're comparing ourselves to what does the ideal life look like? Where should I be at 28 years old? What should my body look like? How much should I be able to bench press for 5 reps? All these comparison things that oftentimes give you this unrealistic expectation kind of mentality. Like, you need to take the information that you know to be true and again apply it to yourself.
And you don't know what they're taking either.
Yeah,
You
they could be
ev
absolute 0% clean, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, in a guy's perspective, you don't know if the guy is natural or not. You don't know if he's on a not saying peptides are bad,
Yeah.
but you don't know if he's on a crap ton of
Yeah, you don't
peptides
know how they
or
got there.
tren or and that they can be lying to you and saying that they're all natural, trying to sell what they're trying to sell, and fine, it's okay. That's the way that they go about it, and no hate on them. But we also don't want you guys to fall into that trap
Right.
with, oh, look at this person's physique. This is how they got there, so I need to get there.
Right.
There is plenty of other ways to do it. And I feel like that's a big thing. And on the women's side too, I mean, sometimes women are just genetically gifted and they can
Yep.
be skinny and thin and be able to show that off to Instagram and good for them for having a for
Yeah.
being able to take care of themselves where they're at, but not everybody's in that situation.
Well, for all the ladies out there, and I can speak to with Damon as well here, we've all taken our fair, our fair amount of photos for you guys, and we understand that lighting, filters, angle, things like that all play a very specific role, and of course the outcome of the photo. And you don't think the influencers know this? This is what they a lot of times focus on. It's like they know how to set these things up so that they can have the best possible product. So a lot of times you're seeing sometimes an edited photo. The lighting is exactly how they want it to be. They're not standing out in direct sunlight, or like here we've got the track lighting overhead, right? It's like, yeah, everyone, depending on how the shadows are cast, we can all look a little bit more tone kind of situation. So it's like, let's take that into consideration as well. People that are creating content to impress and try to inform others are spending a lot of time to make it look impressive, right? So let's talk a little bit about how to build a better feed or how to build what you're seeing. So you want to try to follow people with accreditations, right? Credentials. You want to look at physical therapists, registered dietitians, certified trainers, um, actual doctors, physicians, and coaches that are one, maybe that you actually know that you've been following them or whatever, and they are educational, or they're a big name with a lot of success, right? Like we were just listening to Tim Grover a couple weeks ago. Great mental coach, worked with Kobe, worked with MJ, just dropped something a couple days ago. He's now going to work with Conor McGregor. That is a great coach to follow, right? Realistic examples, success stories. Boom. Take what you can from that.
Absolutely.
Who do you unfollow?
People that are just constantly negative.
Yeah, the
I
negativity is bad.
I mean, we don't need that. This world has enough negativity in itself. The last thing you need is to have somebody telling you that you can't look a certain way because of X, Y, and Z. That's just not how it is. They don't know your circumstances. You don't know what their circumstances are. Let's just try to build the community that is trying to grow, not change, but grow, which Tim Grover quote, thank you.
Yep.
And also just unrealistic transformations. Seeing a person that's, I don't know, let's just use me as an example, that's a 6 foot 170, and then 3 months later, all of a sudden I'm 240 pure muscle with like 8% body fat. You don't need to follow those kind of people. If you're following it just because you're like, wow, it looks cool and it's fun, go for it.
Yeah,
But
fine.
if you're following it because, wow, I need to listen to this person, we might need to reconsider on who we're trying to look for when it comes to information. Those are kind of the big two that I would say. Um, and yeah, it's just honestly the negativity and then just huge body transformations and somebody that is having outlandish comments. Whether they're true or not, you do not need to bring it to a level where you're getting other people involved to try to back it up or trying to disagree with it or just trying to create a lot of hate and negativity.
Yeah, there's already enough of it out there. So look for, those who try to stay positive and, educate. And we take stuff from social media and try and implement it, but we in a controlled environment attempt it first. Like we have these like shoulder and knee rehab programs, and we've taken a lot of inspiration from numerous coaches, performance coaches online, and we know they're reliable sources. But even at that, we turn around and come in here and practically do it ourselves to make sure that it's applicable to our members here at Legacy. Is this something that people can perform? Can they do it with repeatability? Can they load it? Some things are just not meant for general population, and they're meant for athletes. So we'll stay away from that. It's
Mhm.
like using common sense. So your social media feed, it's like your diet, right? So it's like if you're going to consume junk all day, your junk is your social media feed. Then don't be surprised if your mindset or the product is unhealthy, right? Because you're just consuming it all day long. So what we want to do differently is look for practical advice from people. Put it into your own context, right? What are your goals? All these different things. Um, Follow science, right? Science is science. It's tested, it's proven. It carries more weight than people's opinions. People that are in shape have opinions. Great. Like show me the science. That's going to be more reliable source, right?
Mhm.
Um and try to, as always with anything else in fitness, like create sustainable habits with it. Take information from good sources and try to implement it in your own way. It doesn't have to be exact replications all
Mhm.
the time, right? There's variations on how to do that.
And it's like at the end of the day, our goal for this podcast is to be able to educate you guys and be able to give you guys practical advice. We're not trying to give you quick cheat codes on to be able to become this certain physique. We're trying to be able to give you the advice that you need for yourself that sometimes may take time, sometimes will take you 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on what we're talking
Yeah.
about. And I'd just say at the end of the day, we're here to help you as best as we can with any questions that you guys may have. And we're always here wanting to know more topics if anybody is interested. And we're always here to try to help.
You got one or two accounts that you like following that you found to be good use and good education and stuff like that?
Yes. One account that comes off the top of my head is Squat University.
Yep. Follow
He
them.
is just everything that he posts is just unbelievable with how he treats the symptoms of whatever's going on for his patient, explains it in deep detail, shows you anatomy of what the muscles that he's talking about so that way you can physically see everything that's going on, sees the problem and tells you the exercises and how to do them to be able to progress that problem. He's not saying it's going to be an instant fix, but he's going to tell you this is the progression to get to where you want to be.
Right, it's like it's just that it's not let's just show them the exercise and then leave it up to you to go and do it. He takes a deep dive and explains the anatomy, so it's a little bit more comprehensible, like in layman's terms, right, to people that may not understand it as well. I like for a little bit more sciencey stuff. If you guys don't know who Andrew Huberman is, you need to jump on that.
That's a good
Stanford
one.
University professor, everything science, but he's got always got great studies. He's in the field today. He's an awesome one. And then a little bit more for athletes that we try to implement here with a lot of our like level 3 power movements, and try to get our people to do a lot of rotational things when possible, because I feel like rotation is often lost as aging goes on. And that's going to be Eric Cressy from Cressy Sports
Good
Performance down in
pull.
Florida. Very much a baseball guy, but all things rotation, power, and power is the first thing that falls off of a cliff with aging. So take a lot of information from him as well and try to apply that here into our programming.
Yeah, and I got one more account that I really like a lot. His name is Ben Jans, and he goes into the biomechanics of certain movements and will do certain stitch videos of the of the people that are negative or telling you to
Oh
stay
yeah,
away from something.
yep.
And he'll go into deep dive and whether it's wrong or whether he agrees with whatever is going on, and will show you the biomechanics of how it works. And if you don't know the biomechanics that well or at all, he can describe it enough to where anybody can understand it. And that's what I love about him and his account.
It's always helpful. So, bottom line, guys, careful with what you're consuming. Ask yourself the important questions. It's not all visuals and aesthetics. We want to make sure that we're getting good information. And if you ever want to bring it to us or one of the coaches here and asking, if something's a reliable source, you find somebody's page, entertaining or whatever, you've seen it for a while, ask us and, we'll tell you what we think about it. And always try to bring it back to yourself. Always try to reapply the context back to you, your realistic goals, and what you're trying to do with what you're learning. So that's all we got for today, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.